Hello everyone, today I want to talk about the new upcoming character Yelan and hopefully try to help you figure out if she fits your playstyle and team compositions. So ultimately if she is worth your wishes. First I will go over her skill kit and talk about some build ideas, and in the later half I'll get into synergies with other characters and team compositions. Her normal attacks aren't anything too special. She has a way to improve her charged attacks though. After she is out of combat for a while, she gains the breakthrough state, which makes her next charge attack deal AoE hydro damage and decrease its charge time. So whenever Yelan was off field for a while and you switch back to her to activate her skills, it's a nice way to deal some extra damage. And after hitting with her elemental skill, she also has a chance to obtain breakthrough, so you likely want to use the breakthrough charge attack first in case you get another one after using your elemental skill. Speaking of which, her elemental skill can be tapped for a short dash or held for a longer one. During the dash, she will leave marks on enemies she comes in contact with, which explodes at the end of it. Again, each of these marks have a chance to grant breakthrough, and in general this skill provides some nice mobility which can be useful in combat, but also just to get around faster exploring. Her burst skill performs coordinated attacks alongside your active character, or in other words, it is exactly Jingshou's elemental burst skill. We all know how strong it is, so just imagine this skill on a character with the base stats of a 5-star. As for passive skills, the first one increases her max HP with every different element represented in your party, which also indicates that she will be an HP scaling character. The second passive wasn't mentioned in the stream, but let's just say she might just grant an increasing damage multiplier to your active character as long as her burst skill is active. And to throw some random numbers around, it might just start at 1% more damage and goes up to 50% at the end of her burst skill. Sounds pretty broken, right? Maybe it's too good to be true, which is why they didn't feel comfortable including it in the stream. And her last passive is increased expedition rewards in Liwe. And now for the build. I think this character is very straightforward. She seems to be an HP scaling sub DPS, so just get as much damage as you can get, crit rate, crit damage, in her case obviously hydro damage bonus, and as much HP as you can get. As for energy recharge, we kind of have to wait and see how much she will need and test her out. And as for elemental mastery, I think she will have a decently high hydro application rate, so she doesn't benefit a whole lot from the stat, so ignore it if possible. As for weapons, you obviously will have access to the new event weapon if you play once she releases. Otherwise, the stringless is pretty nice as well. It obviously increases her elemental burst skill, which should be the main source of damage for this character. Otherwise, if you have a 5-star weapon like the Skyward Harp, great option as well. As for artifacts, we already covered substats. As for main stats, likely HP percentage here, hydro damage bonus here, crit rate and crit damage, whichever one balances your stats better in the last slot. As for sets, possibly the Noblesse set if you don't have it on your healer already, otherwise it's just another Emblem of Severed Fate character, again to just further increase the elemental burst damage. As for team compositions, again, very straightforward. Yelan is basically a Jingshou reskin, and I already mentioned it earlier, she is a sub DPS, so you pair her with another support, a main DPS, and a healer. And when it comes to Hydro supports, you usually end up with some kind of Vaporize, Freeze, or Quick Swap teams, like for example the National team. So essentially you pick between a Hydro, Cryo, or Electro main DPS, like for example the aforementioned National team, like this. Of course, in these kind of quick swap teams, you can shuffle around the pieces as you see fit. You can, for example, make the Pyro character your main DPS. You can pick Hu Tao or any of these Pyro characters that you see here, and pick your Electro character as your support. For example, Yae or Beidou or Fischl. Otherwise, you don't even need to pick a second sub DPS. You can also pick a more utility focused character like Zhongli, for example, or any of the Anemo characters. And if you pick an Anemo character, we obviously end up with a straight up Vaporize team. In this case, we obviously have Hu Tao as our Pyro main DPS to deal the big Vaporize damage, but in her set you can obviously pick any other Pyro main DPS. Same for Sucrose, any other Anemo support would work to bring the Viridescent set and lower the resistances. I think Hu Tao is especially good with Yelan though, because throughout Yelan's elemental burst skill, she grants a stackable damage increase to your active character, obviously, which is great with Hu Tao because you can just lead up with some charged attacks and finish with the Elemental Burst skill, which will deal crazy damage with all those damage multipliers stacked up. And the last option, you can keep your Anemo character to still lower the elemental resistance, and you just have to switch your main DPS to a cryo character and you have a freeze team going. Obviously, Ayaka is great here. She is just up on the banner right now, so if you don't have her, she is an insane character. I highly recommend her. And potentially you could also use Ganyu, but there have been some weird interactions where coordinated attacks don't trigger on charged attacks, so we have to see how Yelan performs with Ganyu. So potentially Ganyu, but I'm not sure yet. Alright, so we made it to the end. I hope this helped you decide whether you want to wish for Yelan or not. I will definitely get her. I think she will likely be insanely good, easily the best banner in patch 2.7. Anyway, that's it. Stay tuned for more videos. Until then, have fun and bye bye.